Growth is not always loud. Sometimes it feels like being gentle with yourself.
Hello, my name is Lucy Macridis, and I am voiced by Lucy, your go to voice for impactful storytelling and dynamic delivery.
Hi, this is Lucy, your clarity coach, and this is Tuesday Talks at 3. Welcome to the Rooted in Worth series, where we embody self worth. Just thinking about what I said just now, that growth is not always loud. Sometimes it looks like being gentle with yourself. Or there's this myth that we need to be loud about everything that we have done in life. However, in this episode of Celebrating the Woman You Are, I am bringing to the table a pattern that I keep on seeing in my coaching sessions, that as women, we struggle to celebrate ourselves. And this can be for many reasons why we struggle. It could be out of vanity, that you think that once you speak about yourself and your achievements and accomplishments, then you're being vain. It could also be about, and this is the one I personally experience, the what next. You see these books, there are 3 of them. But when I did the first book, I then had self-imposed pressure. Did you hear that? Self-imposed pressure of what next? Well, who said there was a timeline? Who said that I needed to write my next book that soon? At least I know I needed to write my next book. But what was the hurry? It needed to come to me. I needed to become a certain individual before I could start to share with you my take. And that's what my second book is about. It took me 3 years to do the second book. The first book I co-authored. The second book I did all on my own. And being able to get to that point and now celebrating my success, that was the easy part. I was able to celebrate it. I continue to celebrate. I continue to talk about my book. But when we're talking about building up to the celebration, it's that pressure of what next? If I acknowledge that I have come to the end of a season successfully, that means another door is opening for a new season. And that comes with its own set of pressure. Well, that was me, and I'm not putting this on you. I'm just asking you to figure out for yourself, why are you struggling with celebrating your successes and your achievements? What is it that is stopping you? How then can you affirm yourself if you're not celebrating whatever they are, big, small, medium size wins? Just do it. Just celebrate yourself. And as you do that, you're going to open up another vortex where you can step into and learn and grow. We're talking about being rooted in self worth in this series. And this is the month of February, where it's all about love, but we are starting from ourselves, the foundation. So acknowledge your journey. Once you acknowledge your journey, you're able to know where you started from, where you're at, and where you're going. Now, if you remember in episode 1, and if you did not watch episode 1, you just want to go back to episode 1. And in episode 1, I encouraged you to write down your limiting belief. The second thing I encouraged you to do was to write an empowering truth right underneath it. Because the limiting belief will never leave you. It'll keep on coming back every time you're transcending to another level, because it is your brain protecting you. But when you now have an empowering truth, it is easier for you to manage your limiting beliefs and show up authentically. I then went on to in the third part, and I asked you in episode 2, in fact, it was episode 3, about your perfectionism. What is that one thing that is holding you back when it comes to perfectionism? What is it that you cannot finish because you want everything to be all the ducks in a row? So that's the third thing. What I'm encouraging you now is to be able to write down 3 ways that you have grown. And I know you can do this. If I just take a moment now and pause this recording, and I want you to write down how you have grown emotionally. Just write that down for a second now. How have you grown emotionally? Now write down how you have grown mentally. And the last one is, how have you grown spiritually? Because at times we overlook this and we do not realize that acknowledging our journey and the growth is actually what unlocks the next stage. And the next stage is using your voice to affirm yourself with a self-worth. I know you've heard about apps that give you that self-worth, that cantonations, the things that you can keep on saying to yourself to feel better. In fact, to let yourself rise up beyond that place that you're stuck. How about if that voice was your own? So take the 3 things that you have just written, how you've grown emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Record it. Just record yourself. And I promise you, for the next few days, I like to do things in weeks. So for the next 7 days, choose a time in the day when you can replay this thing to yourself. The power of hearing your own voice saying to you the areas that you have grown is second to none. If the apps are already working for you, can you imagine if it's your own voice speaking to you? So work at it for 7 days. Because you're not becoming worthy. You are already worthy. Step into it. Well, thank you so much for keeping me company this February. I'd like us to continue building ourselves. Let us help to build one another. And until our next series, remember, be kind to yourself.